Thanks to technology, the pace of modern inventions is breathtaking, leaving many of us in awe and thinking, what will they think of next? Unfortunately, some do the exact opposite and instead make us think, what the heck were they thinking? The kitchen isn't immune to such bizarre gimmickry. Brace yourself for the most useless kitchen gadgets ever made. Number 10. Butter spreaders. According to the folks at Norpo, the butter spreader won't dirty your knife, butter dish, or hands. What they don't explain is how you stick the butter into the butter spreader without dirtying something else, like your fingers? Clearly, this isn't a problem for some people though, because there seems to be a demand for overly complicated devices like this. Just ask Geraint Crump of Y-Line Product Design, who came up with the Butter Boss. He raised money for it on Kickstarter, asking for pledges of at least $16 US so he could get it out onto the market. Given that it's now selling on Amazon, he succeeded. I just don't understand why. Another gadget guaranteed to make a mess of butter is the Max Space Butter Mill, which gets mixed reviews on Amazon. The resulting butter ribbon apparently sticks to the dispenser, so you have to cut it off with a knife. If not, and because it uses compression, it'll keep dispensing unless you pull the plunger back up. But if you're not careful when you do that, it'll come out the back. Why not just use a good old-fashioned butter knife? Inventions for Market have invented yet another gadget designed to mess butter up for the market with their one-click stick butter cutter equipped with a stainless steel blade. According to their Amazon reviews, however, it's wieldy, hard to replace the butter, and the butter had better be cold or you end up with a gloopy mess. Since there's clearly a market for useless spreading products that makes a ton of mess, let me introduce Squeezy Pro's Peanut Butter and Jelly Spreader. You're supposed to take what's essentially a lollipop stick with different colored ends, dip one end into peanut butter, the other onto jelly, and enjoy getting both on your wrist. Number 9. Pasta items. If you're wondering how they could possibly reinvent the spaghetti fork, then wonder no more. How about a battery-powered fork that twists pasta for you so you don't have to suffer from, wrist strain? The folks at Hog Wild market their spaghetti forks as unique and innovative children's toys. But given how lazy some people are, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually use this to eat. Another take on spaghetti tools is Joseph Joseph's stylish, technically innovative, and award-winning spaghetti measure. A sophisticated device that lets you know exactly how much pasta to serve without wasting a single stick. Or you could take a regular spaghetti spoon, the ones with the holes in the middle called sporks. If your pre-cooked pasta can fit in that hole, that's good for one serving. To measure 2 servings or more, use your head. Number 8. Banana slicers. Not sure why people need special tools other than knives to cut bananas with, but some apparently do. Introducing the Chef'n 27465 Bonanza Banana Slicer, which can cut perfectly measured banana slices for you into segments. For those too impatient with segments and want the entire banana cut into slices in one go, there's the Hutzler 571 Banana Slicer. Number 7. Pizza items. Can't stand using different items to cut pizza and pick it up with? Then try Dream Farm's Cisa. It's a scissor with a thin spatula on the lower blade which lets you cut a slice of pizza and pick it up. Now that you have your pizza slice, how about another useless gadget that lets you cut it up into even smaller pieces? Introducing the Pizza Fork, a fork with a built-in traditional pizza slicer. Do please note the thoughtful yet elegant mouthguard that keeps the slicer from slicing you when you finally put that morsel into your mouth. Hopefully you'll remember that slicer's there when you wash the dishes. And don't you just hate the repetitive motion involved in chopping up herbs and spices? Well, thanks to these herb scissors from RSVP, knives have become so last year. Although it comes with a special brush to remove herbs from between the blades, it must be a pain to clean. I'd rather have Rosley's Pizza Wheel. Never mind the pizza, the thing's simply genius. Even became a nominee for the German Design Award, it did. Since Germans aren't exactly famous for their cuisine, you have to admit, they make up for it in impressive ways. Finger forks from Drink Stuff is another impressive item. Unlike the pizza wheel though, it's absolutely useless. But I do think it's pretty cute. If you've ever had Spanish finger foods called tapas, they're actually quite useful. Otherwise, just stick with traditional dessert fork if you want tines that small. Number 6. Fork and knife chopsticks. Since Chinese and Japanese cuisines don't usually involve cutting up meat and vegetables into bite-sized portions, this next invention is completely bonkers. Fork and knife chopsticks from VAT-19, guaranteed to make you look stupid. And then there's chindagu, the Japanese art of inventing something completely useless, usually as a gag. If you're ever tired of blowing on noodles to cool them, use the portable ramen fan. Admittedly, it looks kind of heavy, but that's the point. For those who prefer a more sophisticated design, there's the USB chargeable noodle cooler from YDI, which you have to admit is far better looking. Admittedly, there's no fan guard, so watch those fingers, but at least you look more stylish. If you want to look even more stylish and stupid, then dip your cookies into tea or milk with the Dipper, the ultimate cookie spoon. Not only is it completely useless, but it only works on Oreos and other similarly designed cookies. Number 5. Stem Gem Strawberry Huller. This one has to be a chindagu, because I can't remember a time when strawberry stems were hard to remove. When almost ripe, they practically come off on their own. So why Stem Gem bothered to make the strawberry huller is beyond me. By contrast, this classic apple peeler and corer from Williams-Sonoma is a perfect example of how people back then knew their stuff. Nothing fancy, no batteries needed, and the result is something useful that does its job. Number 4. Just Crunch Cereal Bowl. Fed up with soggy cereal in the morning? Well, you don't have to put up with that anymore, because we've got the Just Crunch Cereal Bowl from VAT 19. Simply put cereal on one side and milk on the other. Or, you can just put cereal in a bowl you already have and milk into another bowl you already have. To pour your milk, don't forget to use Kitchen Stuff Plus's Leche Milk Carton Holder. Simply stick a 1-liter carton of milk or juice in it, lift that carton with the carton holder, and pour. Granted, it has a lovely handle grip on the side for easy lifting, but how hard is it to lift a 1-liter carton of liquid? If you hate the sight of milk or juice cartons, why not just pour it into a pitcher? And if lifting just really isn't your thing, there's Roll and Pour. I can see how it's useful for those too young, too old, or too infirm to lift and pour big jugs of liquid by themselves. But if you like cold orange juice, for example, how are you going to fit that into the fridge? And unless you have people around to put the jug into the roller for you, it's such a waste of space. Number 3. Egg Cuber. Don't you just hate the way eggs roll all over the place? Fortunately for you, there's the Egg Cuber. Simply cook your egg till it's hard boiled, peel it while still piping hot, stick it in till it cools, and voila! It doesn't change the flavor in any way, so not sure what the big deal is. And what about those strangely shaped eggs? Well, the Japanese company Dreamland has their Boiled Egg Decorator A2000 series, meaning they have loads of shapes you can deform eggs into. Never settle for oval-shaped eggs again. I get how this could be a hit at fancy restaurants, but it's too much trouble for home use. Another thing that could work for a restaurant is the Golden Goose Egg Scrambler from VAT 19. Simply stick the egg in the pouch, pull the strings a few times, cook, and you've got a scrambled egg in its shell. Granted, you have to break the shell open to eat it, or you could just break the shell open in the first place, scramble it with a fork, and then cook it. Okay, I do admit though, I kinda like this one. On the topic of useless egg products, why not traumatize your child for life with this monstrosity? The Fred Egg-O-Matic hard-boiled egg mold will mold your hard-boiled egg in the shape of a skull so they can fantasize about eating its brains. The only advantage to this is that it's a lot easier and quicker to use than the one by Dreamland. Now for the final egg gadget. If you like grossing kids out, there's also the Boogeyman Egg Separator. Stick eggs in, and the yolks sink to the bottom, letting the whites ooze out the nose. Except for the unfortunate imagery, I kinda like this one, though I'm fine with a regular cup. Number 2. Handheld Toasters. This handheld portable toaster by Korean designer Ben Kim looks cool. Simply rub it on one side of your bread like an iron. As your bread toasts, vines and butterflies appear on the knife, meaning it'll take some time, and that's just for one side. This isn't something you'll want if you like to multitask or if you're in a hurry. Useless, true, but very beautiful. Equally useless, but far less beautiful, is the Furzo Toasto by British inventor Colin Furze. Furze has a lot of time on his hands apparently, because after watching The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, he developed an obsession, making toast with a lightsaber. He didn't succeed, but he did manage a saw that lets you toast bread while cutting it. Or you can scrape the bread to toast on one side, just like Kim's invention, only bigger and uglier. Number 1. The Exhaust Burger. An even more useless invention comes from Iran. Ruhollah Merekapor came up with a burger cooker you stick on your car's tailpipe. Fumes are supposed to go out the exhaust while the heat cooks the burger in its compartment. And bon appetit. Just be sure to stop every once in a while so you don't overcook the thing, especially since there are no gauges or dials to tell you when it's done. A far less sophisticated but potentially more useful gadget is the Meat Tenderizer Stamp by Meat Maximizer. I have to admit, I'm sorta on the fence with this one. The ability to tenderize meat without those scary looking meat tenderizer hammers seems like a good idea, but wouldn't a fork or a hookah foil puncher do as well? Which kitchen gadget did you think was the most useless? Do you have any of these? Find them useful and object to our picks? Better yet, do you have your own wacky ones that seem nice in theory but ended up becoming dust collectors once you tried them out? Either way, let me know down in the comments section below, and thanks for watching.